All right, it's 6:30, so,
Okay, so it's time to get started. Richard, would you like to give an opening prayer?
Okay. Heavenly Father, we're here again tonight to conduct the business of the city. Again, we ask for your guidance in making the decisions for the benefit of the city and its citizens. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, we'll call the Yale City Commission regular meeting to order.
Mr. Porter? Mr. Brown?
Here.
Mrs. Hart? Here. Mr. Adsit?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin? Here.
Okay, item 3 is consent agenda, approval of minutes, regular meeting, August 13th, 2024, approval of claims and financial statements. I would like to have PO numbers 82012 and 82045 removed from the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything else they want removed?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda?
Second. Mr. Adsit?
Yes.
Mrs. Hart?
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes. Okay, item 4 are those POs that I had removed, 82012 and 82045.
Move that we approve those?
I'll second.
Mr. Adsit?
Yes.
Mrs. Hart?
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Abstain. Item 5 is public appearances. The public may address the mayor and city commission at this time regarding matters over which the commission has control that are not listed on the agenda. The city commission is prohibited by the Oklahoma Open Meeting Law from discussing or taking any action on matters presented during this time and may refer such items to the appropriate staff members for resolution. Title 25, Section 301. Does anybody have anything they want to bring before the board at this time? Mr. Simpson.
Mr. Joris's property that recently had a fire call onto it. I don't know if the city has a plan of taking care of the mowing or not. If not, I was going to go ahead and knock that corner down. I just don't want to think that they have taken care of it. I'm the one that's actually doing it. It's become a traffic hazard. We cannot see it all come around that corner. So if you guys are okay with me taking care of at least the corners so traffic's a little more safe, I'm gonna do that.
I mean,
I was literally 7 feet.
I understand. I'm just talking about the liability.
Property,
Yeah, it's Bill Reese's property.
then that's, he can do it himself, as long as it's private property,
Yeah, okay.
and the prohibition.
I'm not talking, I'm just so we can make it safe for traffic. So they're probably just need it one time, just get told. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it won't be a problem if I did that.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Item 6, ordinances. Consideration, discussion, and action on ordinance number 416 and ordinance amending section 15-2 of chapter 15 of the Yale City Code to provide for general penalties, amending section 15-14 of chapter 15 of the Yale City Code to provide for general rules for municipal court and declaring an emergency.
It's one of those ordinances that we generally do in the fall to catch up with any changes made by the legislature during the last session, and that's the situation with this. The statute with regard to municipal courts and when they must or must not be open has always been controlled by Title 11, and it has in the past said that municipal courts may be closed only on the days that the state of Oklahoma has declared as a holiday. They took that out this past legislative session and said municipal courts can be closed on the days that the municipality declares to be holidays. And since we declare our own holidays in Yale, I've not looked, but I'm certain that in some years, some of our Yale declared holidays do not match the state of Oklahoma declared holidays. So that's what this change does. It allows us to say if municipal court is going to be closed, it will be on those holidays declared by the city of Yale, whatever they may be, not the state of Oklahoma.
Okay. Just housekeeping.
Housekeeping, yes, sir. Totally.
I move that we approve ordinance number 416.
I'll second that.
Mr. Radford,
Yes.
Mrs. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Item B, consideration, discussion, and action to declare an emergency on ordinance number 416. Is this something that needs to be?
Probably not. No,
Don't
sir.
see this being an
No, sir,
emergency.
probably not. We'll be declaring holidays, I guess, at the October meeting. It'll go into effect before the October meeting, so
25, yeah.
probably not.
Okay, so no action on item B. Item C, consideration, discussion, and action on ordinance number 417, an ordinance amending section 25-145 of chapter 25 of the Yale City Code to provide for exemption from utility deposits and declaring an emergency.
Again, housekeeping, this is in our code right now. We've got this in the code. The legislature, I think it was 2 years ago, passed this law that provides for an exemption on security deposits in certain cases. And it referenced the statute in Title 51 where that was found. They renumbered the statutes. And so all this does is to bring us in compliance with the actual statute that we would rely on in granting this exemption. So again, it's a housekeeping, but something I think we need to do.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 417.
I'll second.
Mr. Radford,
Yes.
Mrs. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Item D, consideration, discussion, and action to declare an emergency on ordinance number 417.
I'll make that motion.
That might merit an emergency.
Second it.
Mr. Radford,
Yes.
Mrs. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Okay, item 7, general orders. Consideration, discussion, and action to declare the property at 110 South D Street as dilapidated and a detriment to the health and benefit or welfare of the public.
I went up and took pictures today, and met with everybody. Work was ongoing. Ken, did you take any more pictures, or you done?
No, Mr. Rogers sent me some the other day. They have done quite a bit there. The back half is a little section of the football that's been torn down, and they've replaced it with a smaller portion of their pit store progress. But the south wall, as far as I can see, is taken care of.
Yeah, those pictures are from about 4 o'clock today.
No, I went back and looked through the minutes, and Richard had made the motion to grant an extension provided that there was safety fence put up around his property. I have not saw that. you recall that, Mr. Assett?
Yes.
Saw that too.
I do believe that was at the last, meeting. If I remember correctly.
There has been a ton of work going on over there.
While we're going through pictures here, Mr. Thomas, would you like to speak?
Yes. At the last meeting, I was instructed that I need to build a fence around the yard, which has been done. I need to put a roof on the house, which has been done. And this morning, the chief said that we needed to take that overhang off of the front of half of the house because I had removed it from the south side, which has been done. The south side wall on the back room, which was a lean-to begin with, I had to remove because it was completely rotten. And it is done. It's all but finished on the outside, even the siding is up there. And I finished that back roof today on that lean-to.
Well, I went back to the original discussion we had back in July of 2023. And when we had that public hearing, we talked about the primary issue was the roof and the south wall. And so if, in fact, you said the south wall has been fixed,
Yes,
has been replaced, and the roof has been.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about the fence? I saw in the minutes last month there was to be a fence around the property, and
What was said was excuse me. What was said was to put up one of those orange plastic fences like they put around the construction areas. That's what I had said. Oh, hey, thanks.
And I also, excuse me, sir, Chief, you was there this morning. We also filled up that pit that was out there in the back.
Yeah, I got a picture of it.
Yes, sir.
I'll put that in there. Yeah, I think they're just trying to determine how come the fence wasn't put up.
Maurice, did you want to speak?
The orange fence,
Yeah. I recorded the meeting, because I know there's a little confusion, you don't hear, everyone doesn't hear the same thing. We were listening to Chief Kelly, he flat out said he wanted a fence put up around where we're working so that the neighbors can't wander over and get hurt. The fence was put up the very next day. If the word orange would have been mentioned, if we would have heard the word orange, I have the orange fence, but
I said orange
okay, but
construction
please
fence.
understand, with all the talking that goes on at the same time, you didn't hear the word orange, I hear you heard the state from the district, Chief Kelly say, a
You
fence.
need a fence.
The fence was up the very next day.
The very next day.
The chief had to go through the gate today to get through the backyard. There is a fence, it's there. There's actually a double fence. There's one right along the back alley, and then there's halfway through to the house, there's another fence across. So it's double secured, and there's one across the front on the side of the house that we're working on. We didn't think you meant to fence off the entire property where they're living and stuff.
Well,
If you want a fence up there, we will gladly do that.
Yeah.
The orange, and please be, do you want the whole property
Put
fence
the
of
orange,
orange?
the plastic orange construction stuff. That ain't nothing. I can do that first thing in the morning.
We actually
I
have
can do
to-
that
well,
tonight.
the fact that you put up the fence in the back, I guess you just misunderstood
We
what I was saying.
misunderstood, that's why I said
Yes,
we
sir.
didn't hear it on the orange. We put up double fences and gates, and the gate, it's in the front. When we're working, the fence in the front is open, so that we can go in and out, and, the chief, he had to go through the gate this morning to get in. And since the chief was there this morning, I finished up the south wall of the lean-to shed that's out back, that's not part of the house. It goes right up against the house, but we finished it. The only thing left now is trim work. I got to trim around the top, tightening up some stuff. And then I get the trim work of the siding in, and on the north side of the house, there's an eave that sticks out, and I need to tighten up the trim along there.
Did I understand you to say that the roof is rain tight now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Got a brand new, the entire south side is a brand new roof, brand new trusses, rafters, walls, insulation, flooring, pillars, from top to bottom's been replaced.
Well, it looks
Except
like
for the front bedroom.
you put a lot of lumber in it too.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, we replaced the whole, we replaced 3/4 of the entire south side of the house to the yard, to do it right. That was what was holding back. It looked like it was being done. And as we built the walls inside the old walls.
And then go around the old walls.
And then slid the other walls out.
The new wall.
We have a lot of cleanup to do because we're dragging the lumber out, putting the lumber back, dragging it out, and the siding out, we're all working at the same time. Chief Kelly kind of cut my nails, he just drug out and didn't cut. But it was inside of the fenced yard. We took you serious on the fence, we just didn't understand orange.
This
Looks
has
like
been going on for over 365 days.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, it's,
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you going to condemn the church? That's been going on for 6 years. 6 years.
I'm not talking about
I
the
am,
church right
I
now,
am.
but
You're giving days.
no,
We're talking 6 years of the
Okay.
church.
all right.
Are we treated fair?
Are we abating the church?
Yes,
The church is
yes.
not up for abatement at
Yes,
the
it
moment.
is. It's been abated. The same as this. It's
Okay.
never been released. It's just,
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I don't know about the church. I'm talking about this specific situation. And it just seems like it's just gone on and on and on. How many, and I feel like how many days have you worked on it in the last 90 days? Have you been up there?
Every day that it
Every
was
day.
not raining,
Okay.
except when it gets too hot, I'm
Okay.
77.
So when are you gonna move in? I'm just curious, when do you expect to move into your house?
I'm hoping to move in before this winter,
So you,
but I still have the whole interior to do
half the.
on the south side of the house.
okay, okay. Okay, thank you.
Steve and Jewel, is that
Yes, sir. I go by Alex.
Alex?
Yeah,
Okay.
call me whatever you want. May I stand up for
I
Sure.
did have one question if I could before I get something. I tried to talk to Chief, he was busy. On what we did need, what you expect us to do. And he said, you have those answers. They don't know why we're abated or what he's done or anything. So we don't know who to go to. Once a month here, I try to keep like Karen and Lou. Bill Reese has already received an itemized list of everything he needs to be done to his place on his abatement. The officers went up and itemized all the work. So can we be treated fairly? And that's all I have.
Hello. I actually took notes, so I'm going to force you all to listen to me. My name is Stephen Alexander Jewell, and I'm a farmer, a builder, a linguist, and a savant. And tonight I would like to speak on General Order A, the consideration, discussion, and action to declare the property at 110 South D Street as dilapidated and a detriment to the health, benefit, or welfare of the public. First of all, I would like to define a few terms. Dilapidated means having fallen into a state of disrepair or deterioration, especially through neglect. Disrepair, in case you didn't know, means broken. And the broken things at the house on 110 South D Street are being fixed. Deterioration means a reduction of the quality. If anything, we have increased the quality of the house at 110 South D Street. And neglect, to pay little or no attention, to fail to heed or to disregard. That does not sound like what's been happening to the house at 110 South D Street. Let's see. I beg you, under this verbiage, do not proceed, because it is incorrect. It would be a serious mistake and a grave injustice. Furthermore, I want to take a minute to bitch and moan about the conditions we have been forced to work under. This is completely on my own, nothing to do with them. This man has to find funding to buy material and labor. He doesn't have enough money to pay for both. So a lot of the workers who go out there are volunteers. Myself, I'm split between a farm, a job in the being a lumberjack in the woods, and helping this man repair his house. So I'm not able to give him the full work day, of which is also limited by the heat and the rain. So what little work I do have, it's hard to split between jobs, especially because I have to go back and forth. Furthermore, no offense, but all of our volunteers are old people. These old men need to be out fishing and not busting ass on a hot roof. I'm the youngest among them, and I turned 40 this year. I feel my age, and I can't imagine what these dudes are feeling at the end of the day. Power tools require power to work. I don't want to give you too much heck about the electric problems, I understand. But it's hard and frustrating when 4 workers show up on a day ready to give at least 6 hours of work. That's 24 man-hours that are lost beyond our control. That's a lot of work that could have been done on that house. It could have looked a lot better had our power not gone out. I think that just about covers it. I apologize if I sounded upset. I'm not. I love all of y'all. I just want to see the best outcome for everybody. Thank you.
Chief Kelly?
Yes, what I said, Maurice, was they have the power to either move forward or not move forward. Okay?
I was misunderstanding. I was trying to ask, what do we need to do? You know, 'cause it's our last day and we're trying, what's the most important things we need to do to try to make them happy? And we put in the doors, we got the doors in, the siding up, the roof finished, the other roof finished. The only thing I didn't get was that trim work. You know, yesterday was a day in the hospital.
Okay, yeah, I had about 10 things going on at the same time, and I just need to get there, get the pictures and get out, so. Are you looking for a recommendation or what?
Well, I want to point out again what I said earlier, that we actually, when we talked about this, we talked about the 2 issues that Officer Moore thought were were in fact a detriment and could be considered, a dilapidated building, was the roof and the south wall. And so if those in fact have been corrected, then has this been satisfied? We may not like the way it looks personally, but has it been
It
satisfied?
appears to be satisfied. It appears that there's no more hole in the roof, and the south wall has been fixed, except for the inside. So, I think, and going back to the electric, I mean, what day are you talking about the electric?
The day the donut shop went out, it was a Thursday.
Well, the whole world was out.
That was not the city of Yelp. Anything we could do about it.
Okay, but if we're still required to, under these circumstances, under this deadline, have all the work done, I mean, it's pretty frustrating when it's out of our hands as well, and you still expect it to be done. Not you personally.
Well, it's out of our hands too. I mean,
yeah.
It's just been well over a year, and there had been little done until
Right.
You
the
did not
last.
understand,
You
we
gotta get
worked
the funding from somewhere.
inside walls, you couldn't see what we were doing.
well, and two, the
Before
abatement process that we've had in years past, things that have been torn down, they've been torn down because there was absolutely nothing done. And we keep going back to them, asking them to do something. They didn't do it, wouldn't do it, and they were abated and tore down. In this instance, I've got to agree with Nancy. It's 365 days, but things are getting done. And I really hate to say, another 60 days or 120 days or whatever, but things are getting done. And you are making an effort.
Yes, sir.
Very much.
Well, I need to say, I voted against this property at the last meeting, and I'm seeing a huge improvement in these last pictures, so thank you very much for doing that, all of you.
Yes, sir.
Ken, do you think that what our concerns have been satisfied as far as the south wall, and the roof?
From what I can see of it, yes.
As a neighbor, I don't want to see progress stop because the pressure, so to speak, has been removed. That's my personal comment.
I mean, in correcting the problems have created other problems with the wood that has to be hauled off to clean up that needs to be done.
But that's easy. That's easy to do. I mean,
Tom, it's basically is done. We've been doing it as we've went. We've made multiple trips to Stillwater dump. I've cut firewood for winter. I got enough firewood killing wood to last me a lifetime. We've been hauling it out as we go. That's what the horse trailer is for. It's just down to sawdust and little chips and chunks and siding pieces and insulation. And insulation's still gonna go inside the house. And I know I've used up my time, but could I just, one more statement that's being misunderstood. This man moved here and he bought this dilapidated house. It was bad. He bought this house as his dream house to rebuild, to live here. He didn't buy a house to tear down. That was his intent from the beginning. And that's why he bought the house, was to rebuild the house for their home to die. Hopefully not tomorrow, but die sometime later. They didn't buy it to stick it on Yale.
Anything else?
When do you think you'll be in it and living in it?
Sure.
I said, when do you think that you would be able to be in it and live in it?
I'm hoping to be in there before winter, but I gotta insulate that whole south wall again. We put styrofoam insulation all around the outside, but that's only 1 inch insulation. And we're gonna be heating with electric heat, so I wanna double insulate that whole wall. And I don't know how much insulation's on the north side. So I wanna re-insulate the inside as well as the outside. And I gotta get drywall, I gotta go buy materials and so on and so forth. And my money right now, I'm living off my social security because I'm not working. I've been working on the house every day.
How much money do you think you put into that house so far?
It's close to $10,000.
But that's just materials, that's not
the cost and that's not counting labor. That's just materials and everything that I bought. And I've even put used materials in there, but they was good material. But I had to build everything from the ground up on that south side of the house. Because that house has been vacant with that roof like that for 10 years, and I didn't know it when I bought it like that. So all the floor joists and everything, the floor joists and everything was completely rotten. The one on the southeast corner of the house, I have only got half done, but it's weak. So I still gotta crawl up underneath it there and put new floor joists under it and then finish out that room to where we can move into that room. Because as Chief, he was there today. And he stepped out there on the floor and he said, "Oh, this is weak." But the new flooring that I put down isn't weak. I put all new floor joists, braced them all up, built on the walls, braced them all up, and new ceiling joists, new roof rafters, and I had to build it from the ground up. And that turned the whole part down.
He basically got to buy the inside paneling and put the insulation up, and he's got to do the wiring.
but we're not, I mean, our problem, we're not, our decision doesn't have anything to do with the interior. That's not what we are looking at. I don't feel it is. And, you know, as long as the roof is intact and but it's the outside property, it's not a detriment to anybody. It's not a hazard. It's not a danger. So
Well,
initially the neighbor was the one that was complaining about the animals in and out of the house. You know, had the big hole in the roof where rain was pouring in for 10 years. And the smell, I think the smell was another big thing with the neighbors. So if you have remedied those situations, which it appears you have, I mean, there's no more animals in the house, right? I mean,
They're actually overhelping.
the smell is really gone, quite a bit, been taken care of quite a bit. So my recommendation is to keep the abatement going and extend it with a hard number, a hard date.
Well, I mean, if we feel like the concerns that we initially had have been satisfied, I don't see any reason to continue.
Well, that's just my recommendation. I mean, they're living on property in an RV, so they need to get moved in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything?
No?
I mean, you got the pictures. If you take away the inside pictures, whatever the outside is what it is.
And like Nancy said, we may not care for what it looks like, but if it's secured, the roof's not leaking, the walls rebuilt, animals aren't going in and out, the smells better, then I think we've satisfied the abatement.
New windows, double pane.
Me too.
I make a motion, we declare this abatement satisfied.
I'll second that.
Something good comes out of it.
Mr. Ossett,
Yes.
Mrs. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please.
Item B, consideration, discussion, and action on a mobile home permit from Bianca Conkling at the location of 208 Northeast Street.
Do you have pictures?
They're in
We
the
have
packet.
them now.
Okay. They purchased this property. The property was cleaned up by Jason Thomas and leveled. It had a mobile home on it prior. They're going to put the mobile home back to where the old mobile home was.
Don't have any concerns with the site.
No.
Your recommendation?
My recommendation is to let it come in.
No one's here
I don't believe so, no.
tonight from,
No.
They were very adamant that to get it on this agenda, they were moving it in relatively soon. The home, they're moving in the mobile home relatively soon. We're planning to meet them.
So you recommend approval?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Ossett,
Yes.
Mrs. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Item C, consideration, discussion, and action on a refurbishment of Fire Department Unit 915 through J&J Custom Fire using Payne County sales tax funds in the amount of $15,070.
Yeah, this is over $8,000, so we have to bring it to the board. It's all Payne County sales tax money. I recommend we pass this.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Mr. Ossett,
Yes.
Mrs. Hart,
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. Item 8, adjournment.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Hart, we're doing adjournment.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffin,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
We'll be waiting.
Okay, moving